So traders, there is a lot of mixed bags that's going on right now in the stock market. Mixed bags in the stock market. And I want to share them with you because I'm just getting, there's just a lot of like gold, silver, stock market, energy sector, oil market. It's like there's a lot of mixed bag. There's bullishness, there's bearishness, and and I just want to share that with you in today's session from here. So let's get into today's session. Let's actually start off with the good old Dow Jones. And one thing you can see on my chart here, let me just bring on here, right? So one thing that I was doing a session today with my coaching clients today, and one of the things I was doing, one of the things I was talking to them about was the moving average, right? So on the daily charts, my main moving average that I like to use is the 52 moving average, right? The 52 moving average. And I like to use the moving average like a momentum indicator in the markets, okay? A momentum indicator in the markets. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, I noticed that whenever we do notice how there's periods of time when the moving average is very strong, pretty much all through here. And whenever we do get that, what do we get? Every time we come back down, we bounce off it, right? Come down, bounce off it, bounce off it, bounce off it. See what I'm saying through there? This is what's called strong moving average or strong momentum in the markets, right? Because we want to have strong momentum in the markets, right? In our favor, to give us that extra little probability, actually a lot of probability, right, of it actually moving in our favor, right? What you don't want to see is what? You don't want to see the moving average going strong up like that, and then it starts to do something like that, right? It goes strong, and then it starts to flatten out like that. This is more like a flattening to really, it's a very slowing, it's slowing down, right? If this is very strong, here we go, and then suddenly, see the different angle, and then as you can see, that was the angle through there before we got the drop through there. So this is something I spent almost an hour with my coaching clients with today, really walking them through what's called advanced sort of moving average and angles understandings of the markets to really give you a good gauge on what's going on here. But the purpose of me saying this here is whenever we do get that strong moving average, it tends to give us a strong momentum here, right? And so as we can see, just by looking at the Dow Jones here, what do we see? What do we see right now? We see what? Notice how we're actually we had a flattening of the moving average through here, as you can see, but look what's been happening in the last couple of months. Notice the moving average is pointing up through there. What does that mean? Well, that simply means that now the Dow Jones, the overall momentum went from flat here to now momentum is starting to pick up from here. And this could be the start of a really big move. Now, what does that look like on a shorter term level basis, right? So I'm looking at this, if I bring up, say, the last 6 months worth of data, if my software will allow me to do that, come on now, software. Oh, geez. Okay, cool. All right, now here we go. Okay, so again, this whole market update for you guys is all about the momentum of markets. Okay, and for me, my ideal situation is I have a strong momentum in the markets, right? So, for example, with my last race trade that I had, right, I like to use the 24 moving average on the weekly chart. Notice the 24 moving average was what? Notice how it was very strong to the upside through there. Strong through the upside. So whenever I actually got in right here as the next move started through there. See that through there? Why? Because the moving average was very strong. So I like to use the 24 on the weekly, and I like to use the 52 on the daily. Now I'm utilizing this to see what's going on here. When it comes now, the moving average is rule number 2 for me in my trading system. If you'd like to learn my trading system for free, guys, all the details, rule number 1, rule number 2 when it comes to the momentum of the moving average, rule number 3, the type of pullback I'm looking for, the entry bar I'm looking for, all that sort of stuff, I teach you for free. There's a link in the description there, guys. You can go click on that and get access to that. So But the whole thing about this here is that this is all about momentum in the markets, right? Because we want to see, okay, is momentum strong? Is it slowing down momentum? Is it weak momentum? What is the moving average telling us, right? So let's go back to this chart here. And I want to go back to the Dow Jones. So looking at this moving average now on this chart, what do we see through here? Okay. We see what? We see, notice we had strong through there. Notice how we actually had what? Flat through there. And now we're starting to, that was through there. And then now we're starting to pick up through there. So notice how the angle, right? We went from flat through here. Whenever the moving average looks like that, there is no momentum in the markets, especially using a 52 moving average on the daily charts. If there's no momentum in the markets, it also means there's probably there's a lot of indecision about where it wants to go, right? So this is the number one thing we can utilize, because guys, what are we after? We're just after a probability of us getting in and getting the direction right? That's all we're after. Right, and because, again, I'm really focused on rule number 2 right now, because this is exactly what I talked about with my coaching clients for an hour. I went absolute deep to there. If you're interested in becoming a coaching client, if you're struggling with your trading right now, and you'd like to join me every day, where you can see what I'm doing, and I can hold your hand, coach you, and so on and so forth, then there's a link in the description there, guys. You can click on that, and you can go get the application form for the next, I've just opened up some spots, for a 12-month daily coaching with me personally for an hour and a half to see what I'm doing to coach you and help you in every single day. So this is intensive. If you've had enough and you really do need some help, then my coaching program will definitely help you. Anyway, so rule number 2 for me is the moving average. And I'm giving you a bit of a deep dive of what the moving average is telling us, right? So as we can see here, look what's happening now. What is the moving average telling us right now? The moving average is telling us that we're actually starting to get a nice increase to the upside. Right, so the momentum is actually starting to pick up once again. It went up, it flattened out, and then now we're starting to what? Pick up again through there. So this could be for the Dow Jones. Anyway, this could mean that we're getting ready for a really big breakout, and away we go from here. Especially this is rule number 2, momentum. Rule number 1 for me is the actual trend analysis. So, and I can see when it comes to trend analysis, we had this low through here. That was that last significant high. It actually made a higher high. So if we make a higher low, and we start to do something like this, and we start to pick up through here, guys, we're probably going to get ready for a 50,000 Dow. Or like this thing's about to get this thing could be the setup for an explosive move, an absolutely explosive, because it's setting up right now. Right, we've got the momentum, we've got the trend, and we're squeezing up through here. Especially the Dow Jones, because guess what? The Dow Jones is the one that hasn't actually made a big move compared to the S&P and the Nasdaq, right? We all know that the S&P and the S&P and Nasdaq were the ones that actually made the big moves in the first place, right? So that's what I'm seeing through there when it comes to the Dow Jones. Let's go check on the Nasdaq. Now, what's happening with the Nasdaq? Nasdaq, when it comes to momentum in the market with the moving average, what is it telling us right now, right? On this short-term chart, what is it telling us? Well, as you can see, we had this strong moving average through here, but notice how we actually started to flatten out through there. This moving average, when it does that tells you not to be looking for long signals. Why? Because we either could be getting ready for a bit of a downtrend, short-term downtrend, or they could be getting ready for a very volatile period through here before it starts to pick up, right? Wait for the moving average to start to do something like this, and then guess what? You want to be trying to look for longs here. You see what I'm saying through there? And then guess what? What did we do? Right? What did we start to do? We started flattening out. Then we went strong again. Now look what's happening. We're starting to flatten out again, aren't we? Now, what does the flattening out mean? The flattening out doesn't mean that the trend is over. It just means the momentum in the market is absolutely flat. What does that mean? It means either we're going to change trend, which right now, trend analysis is what? Higher lows and higher highs. Moving average in the markets gives us momentum, right? So this is not a change of trend. All this simply means is that the end of this move here is probably in place, and we're probably either going to change trend, or we're just going to experience a lot of volatility here for a bit, maybe up and down, before we just continue the overall trend in place. So we have trend analysis, right, which is my rule number 1, and the momentum of the market is my rule number 2. And the best times to get into something is when the moving average is having a good, strong move to the upside, right? Let's go look at the S&P 500. And what do we see here on the S&P 500, right? We see what? We see strong moving average through there, strong moving average through there. We have nice, strong. Notice, look at the angle through there. What is the angle, right? If this is strong, what is that? That must be weak, right? So we have strong, weak. What does weak mean? Weak means weak moving average means a weak moving average simply means there's a lot of weak momentum in the market at this particular time right now, right? At this particular time right now. It can change, and obviously it does change day by day. But when you start to get these both hand in hand, where you get a strong like that, and then you get a slowing down like that, that spells that we're probably going to get something like this in the markets and then a bit of a reversal, right? So I'm not calling a changing trend. I'm just saying that the momentum is actually starting to slow down. It's not as strong as it was through here. So therefore, this moving average in the markets is telling us that the momentum is slowing down big time. So therefore, we can expect what? We could expect maybe a bit more volatility through here before we do get to see a move to the upside. So maybe the volatility is going to start from now through to the election, and we're not going to really get a really big move, right? So let's go look at the good old Russell. What's the Russell telling us? Let's go look at the Russell. Okay, right. So the Russell was doing what? We had strong moving average through here. We had a flattening here, and now we're starting to what? Overall, we're starting to pick up through there. So as you can see, even though we're getting a bit of volatility, the moving average on the Russell is actually starting to slowly increase all through there. Let's go look at silver and gold right now. The short-term analysis on silver and is actually down right now. But remember I said before, one of the best things for me I'm looking for is when the market is having a big, strong moving average. And I always like the market to pull back to the moving average when it's strong, and then we get another bounce off through there, right? But what's happening right now? We're actually going down through here. So that tells us what? Expect just a lot more volatility. This is on the short-term level basis, right, guys? This is on the daily charts. This is not the big long-term weekly charts, but the short-term level just tells us that we could expect a bit more volatility in the markets from here. So, and then looking at gold is the one that's actually given us the potential of having a really big move to the upside coming soon. And why is that? Look at this here, strong. There's a lot of flattening out through here, right? We had a strong period, then we flatten out. Now look what's happening with the moving average. Look how strong that is through there. So there's the momentum for the last couple of months has been picking up big time all through here. And therefore, that this momentum here could be getting ready for us now. When this momentum here could be getting ready for us to have a really big move to the upside. And when you start to overlay that with some good trend analysis, which is what? Lows, higher lows through here, all right? Low, higher low, potentially another higher low. We have very good trend analysis, highs or lows, and the momentum, the moving average is starting to pick up from here. So gold could definitely be one of those markets that could see a really big screaming move to the downside. I want to give you guys an update on the energy sector through here. And the energy sector, as you can see, it's actually a lot weaker than, as you can look at this here, right? It was strong through there, strong, right? Pretty strong through there. And then we've got this moving average, and now we're doing this through here, right? So it's like we're just not too quite sure what's going on here when it comes to the energy sector. But what I do say is the the USO market, this is the one that I've been talking about for the big drop coming to the downside, is look at that pit through there, right? We're flattening out, right? That along with all this in place, and we're getting a breakdown. This is why I've been saying that that oil is about to get crushed in the markets.